The unarmed delegates. The Grand Convocation Chamber stretched 3 kilometers in diameter, a cathedral of starlight and synthetic gravity. 700 species had gathered here, on the neutral station known as Threshold, orbiting a dying red giant at the edge of explored space. The air shimmered with translation fields, turning clicks, hums, and subsonic vibrations into comprehensible speech. The atmosphere thrummed with tension. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood at the entrance, her hands empty, her stance relaxed. Behind her, 2 humans in simple gray uniforms waited with the same unnerving calm. No armor, no energy shields, no visible weapons of any kind. The Carthex delegation noticed first. Their compound eyes swiveled in unison, mandibles clicking in what their translator rendered as derisive laughter. "The mammals have arrived," announced Warlord Threx, his exoskeleton gleaming with ceremonial battle scars. "And they bring nothing." A ripple of attention swept through the chamber. Species after species turned to observe the human delegation. The Velkhori, towering beings of crystalline thought, emitted a frequency that translated as polite confusion. The Argenti collective, mechanical minds housed in bodies of living metal, calculated probabilities and found the human approach statistically improbable. "Perhaps they misunderstood the protocols," suggested Ambassador Kill of the Seraphine Commonwealth, her forearms gesturing gracefully. Her species had survived 3 extinction-level wars through superior firepower and orbital dominance. Elena smiled, a small, measured expression that didn't reach her eyes. She'd studied the traditions. Humanity had been studying everything since receiving the invitation 6 months ago. While other species brought honor guards bristling with plasma rifles, graviton lances, and quantum disruptors, Earth had sent 3 unarmed people in simple clothing. "We understood perfectly," Elena said, her voice carrying through the translation field with unexpected clarity. "We chose differently." Threx's mandibles spread wide, a gesture of aggressive challenge. "You chose weakness. The Carthex have conquered 47 worlds. Our warriors are bred for combat, enhanced with biological weapons, trained from hatching to kill with efficiency. And you bring, what? Soft bodies? Blunt teeth?" His laughter resonated like grinding stone. "Your species will be easy prey when the territorial negotiations begin." Behind Elena, Marcus Chen maintained his relaxed posture, but his eyes tracked every movement in the chamber. His companion, Yuki Tanaka, appeared to be examining the architectural details of the ceiling with academic interest. Neither spoke, neither needed to. The Convocation's High Arbiter, a being of pure energy contained within a diplomatic shell, manifested at the chamber's center. Its voice bypassed translation entirely, speaking directly to neural pathways. "The session begins. Each species will present their case for territorial expansion in the outer spiral. Resources are limited. Conflict is inevitable. Demonstrate your worthiness." What followed was a parade of military might. The Carthex displayed holographic recordings of planetary invasions, their warriors tearing through defensive lines with brutal efficiency. The Argenti collective showcased their autonomous war fleets, capable of sterilizing worlds without organic oversight. The Velkhori revealed weapons that could shatter thought itself, leaving enemies as mindless husks. When humanity's turn came, Elena simply stood. "We brought no recordings, no demonstration of destruction. We are here to negotiate, not to threaten." The chamber erupted in cacophony, disbelief, mockery rendered in 700 different frequencies. Threx rose to his full 3-meter height. "You possess no weapons, no military force? Then you possess no value in these negotiations? The weak are consumed. This is the way of the galaxy." "Is it?" Elena's question cut through the noise like a blade. "Then why are we having this convocation at all? Why negotiate if strength is the only currency that matters?" For the first time, silence fell across the chamber. "Because," Elena continued, walking forward with measured steps, "strength takes many forms. The Cartheks are formidable warriors, yes, but warriors require resources, supply lines, breeding colonies. The Argenti machines are powerful, but they need rare elements to maintain their quantum processors. The Velkhori thought weapons are terrifying, but they depend on organic neural tissue, which they purchase from the Cartheks breeding colonies. She stopped at the center of the chamber. Everything has vulnerabilities. Everything requires something it doesn't possess. And humans? The question came from an unexpected source, Ambassador Kill. Her luminous eyes narrowed with genuine curiosity rather than contempt. We're excellent at finding what others need and making sure they need us. Marcus and Yuki had moved during Elena's speech, not obviously, but with the subtle precision of people who understood spatial dynamics. They now stood at angles that gave them sightlines to every major delegation, still unarmed, still calm. The Cartheks delegation departed, leaving the humans alone in the vast chamber. "They're going to test us," Yuki said quietly, still examining the architecture, though now it was clear she'd been mapping defensive positions and escape routes. "They already are," Marcus replied. Elena smiled, and this time it did reach her eyes. "Good. Let them test. Every test teaches us something about them, and they still don't understand what they're teaching us." The station's artificial sun dimmed, simulating night cycle. Somewhere in the darkness between the stars, humanity's real strategy was just beginning to unfold, and the Council had no idea what they were truly facing.
The hidden variables. The delegation quarters assigned to humanity were Spartan compared to the opulent suites claimed by other species. A single chamber with basic life support, 3 sleeping pods, and a communication terminal that undoubtedly transmitted everything back to the convocation's security protocols. Elena had expected nothing less. What the convocation hadn't expected was that humans had spent the last 6 months learning to communicate without speaking. Marcus stood by the viewport, apparently admiring the red giant's corona. His left hand rested against the transparent material, fingers tapping in irregular rhythm. To any observer, it looked like absent-minded fidgeting. To Yuki, who sat cross-legged on the floor running maintenance on her personal data pad, it was a complete tactical assessment. Surveillance active. 4 separate monitoring systems. Audio, visual, electromagnetic, and something else, possibly psionic. Yuki's response came through the precise angle at which she held her stylus. Acknowledged. Counter-surveillance Protocol 3. Elena paced the room, her footsteps creating their own rhythm. Begin information gathering. Target, individual delegates. Objective, find the fracture points. What made humans dangerous wasn't strength or technology. It was pattern recognition and the relentless ability to exploit patterns others didn't even know they were creating. 6 hours later, they returned to the convocation chamber, but the atmosphere had changed. The delegates no longer clustered by species. Small groups had formed, unusual alliances whispering in corners, exchanging data crystals, making calculations. The Cartheks warriors stood isolated, their aggressive posture now seeming less like confidence and more like defensiveness. Threx's mandibles weren't clicking with laughter anymore. "They've been talking," Marcus observed quietly. "About us," added Yuki. "Good," Elena said. The High Arbiter manifested. Negotiations commence. The outer spiral contains 17 habitable systems. 700 species have claims. Mathematics dictates conflict. Present your proposals. The Velkhori spoke first, their crystalline bodies refracting light into complex patterns. "We propose a tiered system based on demonstrated military capability. The strong claim priority. The weak accept secondary territories." Predictable. Elena had read their cultural archives. The Velkhori had maintained peace for millennia through rigid hierarchies. The Argenti collective countered with algorithmic precision. "We propose resource-based allocation. Each species receives territory proportional to their energy consumption and manufacturing capacity. Efficiency determines distribution. Also predictable. Machines valued optimization above all else. Threx stood, his armor casting the chamber's ambient light. The Carthex proposed the traditional method, trial by combat. Each species sends champions. Winners claim the richest territories. This has been our way, before most of you crawled from your homeworld's oceans. A rumble of approval from the warrior species, a calculation of odds from the technical civilizations, a pulse of concern from the diplomatic ones. Elena waited. Let them show their hands first. Let them reveal their assumptions, their fears, their desires. Then Ambassador Quile of the Seraphine Commonwealth did something unexpected. She looked directly at the human delegation. And what do the humans propose? You've been remarkably quiet. The chamber's attention converged like a gravitational lens. 700 species, thousands of years of civilization, countless wars and treaties and betrayals, all focused on 3 unarmed humans. Elena stepped forward. We propose a question. Silence. What happens, she continued, after the territories are distributed? Say the Carthex win through combat. Say the Argenti calculate the perfect allocation. Say the Velcori enforce their hierarchy. Then what? Then we exploit the resources, Threx said as if explaining to a child. We expand our civilizations, we grow stronger. For how long? The question hung in the air like a stellar anomaly. Obvious once noticed, but somehow invisible until pointed out. The outer spiral territories will be exhausted within 2 centuries, not by any single species, but by all of you combined. Your populations are growing, your energy needs are increasing, and space, despite its vastness, has limits. She manipulated the data, showing resource depletion curves, population projections, carrying capacity calculations. In 200 years, maybe less, you'll be right back here, fighting over the next frontier, then the next, then the next. That is the nature of existence, the Velcori representative said, their crystalline voice resonating with certainty. Life expands, resources deplete, conflict is inevitable. Is it? Yuki spoke for the first time, her voice carrying an edge of challenge that made several delegates recoil. Or is that just what you tell yourselves because you've never found another way? Marcus pulled up different data, human historical records, carefully curated. 300 years ago, our species was confined to one planet. We were divided into hundreds of factions, fighting over territory, resources, ideological differences. We nearly destroyed ourselves multiple times. Images flickered through the holographic display. Wars, famines, environmental collapse, nuclear standoffs. We were very good at fighting, but fighting was making us extinct. So, you conquered your violent nature? Threx's tone carried skepticism. Became peaceful philosophers? Forgive me, but I don't see evidence of evolutionary transcendence. Elena laughed, a genuine sound that surprised even herself. No, we're not peaceful. We're still violent, territorial, competitive creatures. We didn't change our nature. We changed what we competed over. She pulled up new images, cities reaching into orbital space, generation ships, fusion reactors, quantum computers, genetic therapies, artistic achievements, scientific discoveries. We started competing about who could build better, who could discover more, who could create things that benefited everyone while still claiming individual achievement. We took all that aggressive, territorial energy and pointed it at problems instead of people. Cooperation, the Argenti collective said, their synthetic voice carrying calculation rather than emotion. You're describing cooperation. We're describing enlightened self-interest, Elena corrected. Every human still wants to succeed, to claim territory, to prove their worth. But we realized something crucial. We're better at succeeding when we're not busy sabotaging each other. Quayle's forearms crossed in a gesture of deep thought. You're proposing we share the outer spiral territories. We're proposing you stop thinking of them as territories to be claimed and start thinking of them as problems to be solved. Elena walked the perimeter of the chamber's central platform. 17 systems, multiple species, interested in each one. Traditional negotiation says fight over who gets what. We're saying, what if everyone gets something different from the same space? The holographic display shifted, showing one of the outer spiral systems in detail. A yellow star, 6 planets, asteroid belts, various moons. The Cartheks need breeding colonies with high gravity and thick atmospheres. The Valkyrie need low-gravity environments, rich in certain crystalline minerals. The Argenti need radiation-heavy zones for their quantum processors. The Seraphine need stable orbits for their generation ships. She highlighted different parts of the system. Planet 3, high gravity, thick atmosphere, no radiation, perfect for Cartheks. Planet 5's moon system, low gravity, crystalline composition, perfect for Valkyrie. The inner system's radiation belts, perfect for Argenti. The stable Lagrange points, perfect for Seraphine. One system, 4 species, 0 conflict. This is unprecedented, Quayle said slowly. It's logistics, Marcus replied. It's just complicated logistics. Threx's mandibles clicked rapidly. Agitation, or thought. Elena couldn't tell which was which. And who coordinates this cooperation? Who ensures compliance? Who punishes defection? Elena smiled. That's where humans come in. The chamber erupted in noise, protests, questions, accusations of manipulation. The High Arbiter's energy shell pulsed, demanding silence. Explain. Humans are good at one thing better than any species we've encountered. We're good at understanding what others need and creating systems where everyone